My name is LJ McCannis. I'm 34 years old and I'm from just north of Boston, Massachusetts. My occupation, I'm a horse trainer. Um, my family grew up in the industry. I was involved a little bit when I moved to New York. I dove into all sorts of different things, but I always had an interest. And then I became single about a year and a half ago and realized I had all this green stuff in my pocket. So I said, I talked to my mom. She's a trainer also, and I said I want to buy a horse. So about 1 year ago, I went to Florida and I bought a horse, and I became obsessed with the whole industry. And I would bartend at night 4 nights a week, and I would be up there at 5:30 in the morning taking care of them. And then people would come to me that couldn't afford to take care of their horse, and so I'll take that one. All right, I'll take that one. I ended up with 8 horses now that I care for, train, and race myself, and it kind of just flourished into a serious passion. For me as a person, I need to be constantly challenged. Creatively is usually my preference, but something about the horses, they're literally giant children that can't speak. So it's like with amazing power and speed and intelligence, but they can't speak. So the challenge is finding like what's wrong with them, what they like to eat, how far they like to run while they're still happy. All those little things is just something about that. And then at the end of the day, you get a minute and a half to prove all of everything that you put in there, and it's just unbelievable feeling when one actually wins. It's just, and you can always get other horses. Like, it's a business that I love doing. Love it. In my own head, I had my own game plan. My strategy was, because when I bartend, the median age at the restaurant, they're like 50-year-old women. So it's like easy for me to communicate and relate, and whether it's the sex appeal or whatever it is that they're drawn to, it's easy to have them kind of just puppeteer them to doing what you want. So if it was an ideal world, I would have an older woman. So I would like to get somebody who's older. They typically have a little more loyalty. They're a little more focused. They've been through life. They've been through all these things. They know what they want. So if you kind of give them what they want, they'll in turn respond. And I'd like to get somebody else that might be a little bit younger, that kind of just looks up to me, looking for answers, looking for guidance, because then in the same turn, 3 people can win this game. I think because I like to be hands-on, and I like to do stuff, and I'm a perfectionist, and I obsess over creative control, and I really have to reel myself in, because from day one I'm gonna have a gist on whether I'm gonna drive myself bananas or I'm just gonna be able to do this. Because just building a hut, I mean, to me it's the common sense. It's just primitive things. You put the log, just the things that I just feel like if somebody's just not doing it right, it's gonna drive me nuts, and I'm gonna just want to take over, or so I'm gonna do as much as I can just for guidance, but I don't want to be overbearingly assertive and pushy or aggressive. So I think that my perfectionism, my obsession for creative control is going to be a problem. I'm going to want to do everything, and I'm just not going to be able to. I'm going to win because of all of the crap that I've been through. And it's not a bad thing. I've just been, I have people that envy my life, and I have people that look at me like, what are you doing? But if I'm not creatively challenged, I move. Like I get hands-on with stuff, and if I want to learn something, I literally will learn it, and I will perfect it, and then I'll just be bored. And now I finally got to horses, but I've done bartending. I've been in finance, so I've learned how to screw people over for their money, and then talk to them after and say, oh, tough luck, let's get a beer. Hey, I know which one you should drink. You should try the, and the bartender. The bartender's huge. I interact with people every single day. My job is to make them feel good, make them just think the world around them doesn't exist and they're the only person. So, and my competitive nature is just gonna just be automatic for the individual stuff. Oh, $1 million. How many horses can I buy with $1 million? No, I probably buy $500,000 in horses. But I do want to set up. I really have an obsession with the horses. I love it. I would set up my own training facility, my own rehab center.